Hey, what's up guys? So guys, in today's video, we'll be getting API.session and session URL into the Lightning component. Guys, if you're aware about it, so there is no official API global variable available for Lightning component. So whatever you will write like API.whatever is not going to work in Lightning component. So guys, to get the session variables in Lightning component, we'll create a workaround today. So we'll be getting these variables in Visualforce Page first. And from that Visualforce Page text, we'll be getting those variables into the Lightning component. So we'll be having some prefix before and after text, so we could identify like this is the starting portion of session ID and this is the starting portion of session URL. So guys, let's start today's video. I'm Kapil, host, and you're watching Salesforce Code. For today's demo, we will be trying this example into a developer console. So let me just open mine. So guys, this is my developer console and this is my org. Okay, so I will be trying this example into this developer org first. Okay, so guys, I have already created a Lightning component and a Visualforce page in which I'm having the API values like session ID and session URL. Okay, let me show it to you. Alright guys, so here as you can see, this is my component, and in my component I'm having two attributes, session ID and partner URL. Okay, and I'm having a init action here which will run whenever the component gets loaded. And on controller guys, I'm having a lock here which says I'm in component. Okay, and this is my Visualforce page guys. In Visualforce page I'm just getting the API.session ID and API.partner server URL. Okay, so basically these will be the two variables which we'll be getting in the Lightning component itself. Okay, let me just show you the preview of this. So guys, this is the Visualforce page preview here. So here as you can see, I'm having a session ID and underneath that I'm having the server URL for the current user. So we'll be having these values in the Lightning component. Okay, so guys, to get these value in Lightning component, we have to give a prefix before and after of the values in the Visualforce page. So let me just open the Visualforce page first, because in Lightning component we'll be getting the content of the Visualforce page. So in content we'll be getting session ID and the partner URL both. So you know, we just to differentiate, like this part is session ID and this part is URL, we will add some prefix here. Let me just add the prefix. Let's say for session ID I have added start of session. Okay, and let me add a prefix at the end also. Alright, so these are my prefix for session ID. Now we will add prefix for partner URL. So for partner URL I will be having start of URL and end of URL. Alright guys, so we are having the prefix with us now. Now let's check out the output ones. So this is the current output of the page, in which you can see we are having start of session, we are having end of session, and we are having start of URL, and we are having end of URL here. Alright, now we will be getting text of this Visualforce page into the Lightning component using Apex controller. Okay, so guys, first of all we'll create a global class here just to store a common method that can be used in any Apex class, because the method should be reusable. So you know, whenever you need, you just call it from the utility class. So I will create a utility class. Let's name it utility. Okay, let's make it global. All right, now we will create a method here to get the value from the Visualforce page based on the start and end prefix. Okay, and guys, we have to pass the prefix from this utility class to the Apex one, and Then from apex we'll be getting the prefix into the lightning component. Okay, so basically we'll be passing the list of string here. So let me just create another method here. So we'll be having a global method here, and that will return list of string. Let's name it get API variables from VF. Okay, so guys, in this method we'll pass the page name, and based on the page name it will be getting content of that page. Okay, so we have to pass a page reference parameter here. Okay, let's name it VF page. All right, now let's create a list here, and let's name it API list. All right, now we will create a content variable here. So it will be basically a string in which we will be getting the complete content of that Visualforce page. Okay, so there's a particular method to get the content, which is get content, and let's convert it to string. All right, now we will be having the start and end index of the prefix, guys. So to get the index, I will be using an integer here. Okay, let's see, content dot index of the parameter prefix was start of session ID. Okay, after that we have to add the length of this text basically, so we can just skip this text and we'll be getting the value after this text. Okay, so let me just quickly copy and paste it. Okay, so we are having length here, and after that let's have another parameter, the and index. We will be having content dot index of, and we'll be having and of session ID here. All right, and after that with the help of start and end prefix we'll be getting the session ID, the main value of session ID. So let's add the value in the list itself. Okay, so let's call the list here API list dot add, then we will add content dot substring, and we will pass start and end index here. Okay, so we have added first parameter, guys. Now we will add another one, so let's quickly copy this and update it to URL now. Okay, we'll remove this integer because it is already declared above. Okay, start of URL and end of URL here. All right, so now we are having start and end index of the URL variable also, so we'll be getting the substring here. So let's add it into the list itself, API list dot add content dot substring, and we will pass start and end index here. So guys, now in the API list we are having two parameters, the session ID and the URL. So the first parameter will be session ID and the second will be the URL. Okay, now let's return the list. Okay, let's wait until it gets saved successfully. Okay, let's wait for a minute. It's taking longer than usual. Okay, it is saved now. Okay guys, now we have created a global class here. So now let's create a apex class to get the value from this global class, and then we will be having the value into the component itself. Okay, so let's create a new controller here. Let's name it send API parameters controller. Okay, it's taking longer than usual. I think it is due to the slow internet connectivity. Okay, so it is failed now. Let me just check what is wrong with it. So it will continue the operation in the background, and I'm not sure about it, like it will be getting created or not. Let's wait for a few more seconds, okay? Let me just try to create another one. Send API parameters CTRL, okay. Okay, so it was getting created in the background only. All right. So guys, we are having the class now. So let's create a method here, okay. So let's create a public method which will return list of string which we'll be getting from the utility class. Let's name it fetch API variables. Okay. Now guys, if you remember, like we have to pass the page name to that utility method to have the value from the page. So we'll create a page reference here. Okay, let's name it API page. So we have to use the page name here. So the page name was send API parameters VF. Okay, now create another list of string. Now we will call the utility method. Okay, let's check the page name. Okay, and we have to pass the page name here, so it is API page. All right, so basically it will be calling the utility method, and a utility method will return the list of string in which we'll be having session ID as a first string, and on the second string value we'll be having the URL itself. Okay, so let's return the API list. All right, so the method is also ready now. Okay, now we have to use this controller into the component itself. And guys, don't forget to mark it as aura enabled, because otherwise it won't be working in the component. So let's mark it or enabled. Okay, let's save it and let's go back to the component now. So this is the component, so we'll just add the controller here, and the controller name is send API parameters. All right, so this is the controller, guys. So we have added the controller into the component now. Okay, let's save this. All right, so it is also saved now. Now guys, from the do init method, we have to call the apex, and from that apex it will be calling the utility method, and the utility method will return the values in apex first, then the apex will return the value into the component. Okay, so let's create a call out here. Okay, let's check the method name. It was fetch API. Okay, all right, so we'll be having the code here. So let's get the state first. And if state is success, then we will be having the values. Okay, so let's collect the value into the result first. All right, now we will set the values in the attributes. So let's set the values here. Component.set v.session id. So the first value will be the session id, so we will use the first value from the result, and we'll do same with the partner URL also. Okay, now the second value will be the URL. Here it is. All right, and guys, let's print the values also in console. Okay, so let's write console.log session id. So it will be in the result 0. Okay, and let's print the URL also. Let's quickly copy and paste it. All right, so guys, we have printed the session ID and URL here. Okay, so guys, after the success block, you can have an error block also. I mean, if you need to catch any exception from the server. So this is just an example for testing purpose, so I'm not creating any error block here. So I will be just directly executing the function here. Okay, so let's execute the action here. Okay, so the component is also ready, guys. Let's try to print the value here. So session ID is v.session ID, and URL will be v.partner URL. All right, so guys, the component is also ready. So let's check the output now. So I have already created an app for that. In this app, I'm having my component to check the output. Okay, so let's hit the update preview, and let's hope we don't get any errors here. All right. So guys, as you can see, we are getting the session ID and the URL here, and the same will be in the console also. So in the console also, we are getting the session ID URL. And guys, this session ID and URL is coming from this Visualforce page. So what we did basically, we get the complete content of this Visualforce page. Then based on the start and end prefix, we have separated the variables, and then after that we are displaying it on this lightning component. So guys, it's kind of a hack kind of thing. It's not a permanent solution to this thing, but anyways, it will do the trick if you are having same kind of situation. Okay. And guys, I will be having the complete code on my blog also, which is salesforcebold.com. So I'll be writing a blog about it by tonight. So if you need the complete code, you can just directly go to my blog and just check that out and modify it as per your requirement. All right. So guys, if you like today's video, subscribe to the channel will be awesome. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you like today's video, subscribe to the channel will be awesome. Let me know if you have any query in the comment section below guys, or you can just give me a shout out in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one guys. Thanks for watching.